Afghanistan says talks need to be speeded up after a suicide bomber killed 63 at a wedding yesterday in Kabul. South Bend, Indiana mayor and Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg, appearing on CNN State of the Union, says it's time for the U.S. to depart.
Leaving Afghanistan is the one thing that the right, the left, the Taliban, the government, and the international community all agree on. So the real question here is, are we going to leave well or are we going to leave poorly? To do it right, we need to make sure we get the basic assurances about counterterrorism that we need and that the Afghan government is on the table so that there's a formula for stability.
In the wake of recent mass shootings, many churches are taking safety matters into their own hands.
In Fort Worth, Texas, for example, the Fellowship of the Parks Church and its sister campuses have partnered with a local company called Sheepdog Defense Group. Sheepdog trains congregants a variety of skills needed to become volunteer security guards, including handling guns, threat assessment, first aid, tactical skills, and other first response techniques. A separate but similar program in the Birmingham, Alabama area says about 40 different churches have taken part in their training program. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
I'm Ann Cates.
مدیران و کارکنان رادیو ایران KIRN هیچ گونه مسئولیتی در مقابل سخنان کارشناس شرکت کننده در این برنامه را ندارند. هزینه این برنامه توسط کارشناس شرکت کننده پرداخت شده است.
دنیای ما، جامعه ما.
Our world, our community, with Debbie Amini.
Hello and welcome everyone to another informative and educational program of Our World, Our Community. In this program, we have a unique opportunity to invite consulate generals of different countries and local city officials to share important information about our world and our community with our listeners. My name is Debbie Amini, and today we have the honor of having a newly elected City of Los Angeles Council member, Mr. John Lee, Councilman of District 12. Mr. Lee formerly served as Chief of Staff as well as Chief Legislative Deputy and the Field Deputy for former LA City Council members and won the LA City Council seat of District 12 last Tuesday on August 13th. Congratulations, Councilman Lee, and thank you for dedicating your time today to this program and the audience of Radio Iran 670 AM.
Well, thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate you having me here today.
Of course, our pleasure. So, Mr. Lee, let me start with what are the areas included in District 12?
So the areas include the Northwest San Fernando Valley. We're talking about Granada Hills, Northridge, Porter Ranch, Sherwood Forest, Chatsworth, West Hills, and a small part of North Hills and Reseda.
Oh, very interesting. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty big.
It is. It's the biggest, it's the largest square miles of council district in the city of Los Angeles. It's the biggest.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. By any chance, do you know what is the population of the Persian community there?
Of the Persian community, I'm not sure, but we have about 290,000 people in the council district as a whole. And I know the Persian community is a very active and vibrant one in District 12.
Very interesting. One of our previous guests who is running for Beverly Hills City Council explained what the City Council and the responsibilities of a council member are. Yet, if you don't mind, briefly explain your role or simply the role of a council member in the city of Los Angeles.
Well, I always tell people that no form of government more than your local government has an effect on your daily life. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, the city of Los Angeles is part of that. As soon as you turn on your electricity, turn on your lights, that's us. As soon as you go to turn on water to brush your teeth, that's us. The sidewalks you walk on, the streets you drive on, police, fire, sanitation, So when you're talking about everything from the people responsible for putting up the stop sign all the way to taking care of managing police budgets, response times. And so, like I said, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed.
Very interesting. I think if you don't mind and you're okay with it, now that our listeners know what areas are covered in your district and what your role as their councilman is, we can invite them to join us if they have any questions or any concerns. You can reach us by calling the studio, by calling 323-512-7264. شنوندگان عزیز، امروز در خدمت کانسلمن جان لی هستیم، کانسلمن دیستریکت 12 که همونطور که توضیح دادن شامل چتسفورد، نورت هیلز، نورت بریج، گرانادا هیلز، پورتر رنچ، رسیدا، شروود فورست اند وست هیلز میشه و خدماتی که ایشون ارائه میکنن شامل تقریبا خیلی براد هست، یعنی خیلی چیزا رو کاور میکنن، از آب و برق گرفته تا پیاده روها، علامت‌های راهنمایی و رانندگی، ساین‌های ترافیک. و اگر دوست دارین سوالات خودتون رو مطرح کنید با ایشون، میتونین با تلفن 323 512 72 64 تماس بگیرین و سوالات خودتون رو با ایشون مطرح کنید. I'm going to go to a question. I want to know what made you interested in becoming a councilman. If I'm not mistaken, you grew up in the district. Correct?
Correct. You know, my parents moved to this area in 1978. So I've lived there for over 40 years. My first 8 years were in Van Nuys. So all my life, I've been a San Fernando Valley kid. And, you know, I have strange Korean parents. They never wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor. They always wanted me to be in public service. I think it has a lot to do with their immigrant experience. Coming here from a third world country called South Korea at the time. And my dad came in 58. My mom came in 62. They met here in Hollywood, California in search of that American dream. And this country gave them so much that they thought it was important for me and my brother to give back. I've actually been volunteering in this community since I was 13 years old, working with children with developmental disabilities all the way into my adulthood. And, you know, when I heard that Councilman Englander was leaving the job and this would be an open seat, you know, I didn't hesitate. I knew this is something because I love this community, elementary through Cal State Northridge. And now I'm raising my two children there with my wife. And I want to provide the same type of upbringing for them that I received.
Very interesting. So this is basically what is rewarding about your position, correct? Like, because with this position, it comes fame, it comes power, it comes a lot of things. So it's just, you know, how much of it could be the power and the fame? How much could it be just trying to make a difference, or all the volunteer work that you did for the community and now you wanted to make that difference for them and make a better community for everybody?
Well, I'm hoping for most people. I hope that when most people run, it's not for the fame or the power. It's because they have a real deep sense of service, of community service to their community. For the last probably 16 years, I have been volunteering and representing this community in so many different ways. And those are the people that I'm fighting for. I'll give you an example of a few of the organizations that I'm a board member on and some of the work that I've been doing. I'm a board member of the North Valley YMCA, where my focus has always been after-school centers, because I know that so many families have two working parents. I always thought it was important to provide a safe place for kids to go after school. The second organization I'm very proud of is the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. I believe it is one of the most successful homeless shelters in the city of Los Angeles, and it's located in Northridge. 90-bed facility that we built 5 years ago that runs at a 93% success rate, meaning less than 7% of our adults and families end up back on the streets. And it's because we don't simply put a roof over their heads. We actually figure out how do they get into the situation and how to teach them not to get back in that situation in the future. And the third organization is the LAPD Devonshire Pals Youth Center. This was an organization I helped raise $5 million to build a youth center right in the middle of the area with the biggest amount of crime in CD12. We opened that up 10 years ago. And since we built that center, not only has juvenile crime gone down by 50% in our district, we're now sending these kids to colleges and finding them great jobs. I'm very proud to say that I had my first Devonshire Pals kid that's a part of our program get accepted to Harvard University this year. And it's a program where we're really changing lives. And if you can tell, all my programs are focused around youth. I'm a big believer in spending $1 today instead of spending $100 tomorrow.
Wow. I see that you talk with passion and so much proud of the accomplishments before becoming a councilman. This all happened. You became a councilman just past Tuesday, and you have done so much already for the community. So what would be your goal from now on? What is that you're looking forward to do, like short-term goal or long-term goal? What is it that you're planning to do?
Well, I think that we have a lot of issues facing the city, and I don't think you can even start a discussion with anyone in politics or in government without obviously coming to the concern about homelessness. I believe that this city needs to start tackling the problem in a different way. We have, for many years, been tackling it with the same sort of goals in mind, that it's a housing problem. It's a housing problem. It's a housing problem. While I do believe we need more housing, I also think that it's time that we understand that we have a drug crisis going on. We have a mental illness crisis going on. Those are things in the bigger picture, big sense, that I want to help tackle. But also citywide issues. This city of Los Angeles, we're an amazing city, and a lot of companies, I think, they want to locate here in Los Angeles, but the city and the state has made it so hard on businesses. We keep telling businesses how they should do their business instead of engaging them and asking them, how can we help you? How can we help you spur this economy, create job growth? And those are the citywide issues, and locally, it always has to be public safety. I don't believe you can have good schools and good neighborhoods without first having safe neighborhoods. So public safety will always be my very first, agenda item.
Very true. Safety is an important factor in any community. That's totally correct. I remember when I was talking to the other gentleman the other day on the radio, he mentioned that in the city of Beverly Hills, homeless people are not even allowed to be there, which means that the policeman can go confront them and have them move to somewhere else. Is this the case in the district that you're covering, or no?
Well, I think Beverly Hills included, we all have to listen to the judgments passed by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They have said that it's legal now for people to set up their tents in different areas. I don't necessarily agree with it, mm-hmm. but we have to follow the law. Some of the things we've really taken our police officers' ability to do their jobs. And while there are homeless people there that truly are those one paycheck away, we have a group of homeless people that are living on the streets that don't necessarily want the help. And they're trying to, they're committing crimes, feeding their drug habits because of Prop 47, which is something I want to see how I can repeal. That is a law that passed 3 or 4 years ago that really, it lowered a lot of felonies into misdemeanors. And so if I'm a drug addict and I'm trying to feed my drug habit, I can steal up to $950, not per day, per incident, before it's considered more than petty theft or a felony. Police officers, they don't even sometimes respond anymore because they get frustrated when they say, John, it's frustrating when I'm filling out the paperwork and I see that person pay a fine, They're in and out of the system before I'm done with the paperwork. We have to change that. If there are people committing crimes out there, we need to change those laws so that we can let our police officers enforce that law and talk about rehabilitation for these people. We have a drug problem, and we need to start facing those problems.
That's true. It's about time to face the problems and come up with a solution. You talked about more housing. Does this mean that you want to build more houses and like apartment buildings and stuff to reduce the homelessness? Or if that's the case, what's going to happen with the traffic in the area and stuff?
So I think there are areas where housing, additional housing makes sense. And there are areas where it doesn't make sense. I have a district that is comprised of a lot of single-family neighborhoods, single-family home neighborhoods. And I don't necessarily know if those are the correct places, but there are areas in our district that we can address a housing issue. So, we need to encourage people to actually build lower income housing. But so often, the city often says, when we have a problem, we just say, businesses, you figure it out. The city has to be a part of that. There are so many fees and regulations that we put on people building homes that they're pushing up the price because they just pass it through. When my children get out of college, they're going to be facing $4,000 rents, by that time. It's just
on
not,
top of the student loans.
Yeah. We're pushing the middle class into poverty when they're spending 60, 70, 80% of their income on housing. It's just not sustainable. So we do need to build more housing, but we need to make sure that we build it in the right places.
In the right places. And you think that you can bring the extra fees that they have to pay here and there, you can reduce that as well for them?
I think we should just simply get rid of them all. Honestly, I think we should, if there was an earthquake tonight and I had 8,000 people sleeping on the streets in the San Fernando Valley, I know this city would come together so quickly. If it was me and you and we were, an earthquake got us out of our homes, we would get rid of all the regulations except for the basic safety issues that have to be there, the building and safety issues. But we would come together and we would build so quickly because this city always comes together in a crisis. Well, we are in the middle of a crisis right now and we need to respond. And so I think we can do it. I know we can do it because I've seen the city do it in the past.
I agree. You mentioned that some of these people are probably a good number of them are the people who are dealing with drug addiction and problems like that. So I don't think providing housing would answer the problem or solve anything here. What are your plans to tackle that problem, the drug problem? And from what I see myself, it's unfortunately a number that is growing, and it's happening with the younger ages, like. They started from like teenagers, even middle schoolers or high schoolers. So what do you have in mind to tackle that problem that is unfortunately growing really bad?
So many people say, John, being homeless is not a crime. And I say, absolutely, 100%. For those people who are truly one paycheck away, I want to help them. And I believe my actions as a board member of the rescue mission have shown that I want to help them. I understand that there's a housing crisis. I understand the high cost of living. But there are some people, just because we build housing doesn't mean that they automatically are going to come there. We just had a fire in the Sepulveda Basin. Those homeless encampments there, we've offered them housing before, but they've turned it down. So when we do catch someone who is committing a crime to feed their drug habits, well, we used to have a very vibrant drug court where we're not making them criminals. We're just rehabilitating them. And I think many of these people, when they come out of these programs, they're actually going to thank us. They're going to thank us for saving their lives. And when you talk about the youth programs, the youth being more addiction amongst our youth, it's something as a parent of a 13-year-old and 11-year-old, I'm very, very concerned with. These drug companies have flooded our streets with narcotics that they knew how addictive they were and has made public statements of how much money they were going to make off these drugs. And they've pushed doctors to prescribe these for a backache or a toothache or things that necessarily don't need it. There's a need for these drugs. People are in pain. People have cancer. There are a need for them. But, when I read stories of companies sending 3 million pills to a city of 400 people, they knew what they were doing, and they knew they were feeding into the addiction problem. And it's something that we need to take a look at those companies. So many times politicians, they're afraid to look at the drug companies. Well, I'm not. They're part of the problem, and I think they need to be part of the solution too.
I like to hear that. Very nice. شنوندگان عزیز، همونطور که بهتون گفتم قبلا در خدمت کانسلمن جان لی هستیم و ایشون دارن راجع به برنامه‌هایی که برای دیستریکت 12 دارن صحبت میکنن. میریم به آگهی ها میپردازیم، ولی در بخش دوم برنامه باز هم با شما خواهیم بود در خدمت مهمان عزیز کانسلمن جان لی و باز هم راجع به پرابلم های هوملسنس، سیفتی کامیونیتی و بسیاری مسائل دیگه ای که اینفورمیشن بسیاری در این زمینه داره گفتگویی خواهیم داشت. با ما باشید. دنیای ما، جامعه ما.
Our world, our community with Debbie Amini.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
I'd been smoking for a while. I tried vaping when it first came out. It just didn't work for me. But recently, I tried My Blue, and it actually gave me the nicotine satisfaction I was looking for. My Blue is easy to use, and it lasts all day. I even like having the different flavors and nicotine options. It's nice having a choice. I think other smokers will be surprised by My Blue. I certainly was.
Find My Blue in a store near you or order online, myblue.com.
علاقه‌مندان اودی، دوستان صمیمی شما شی امین و مهرداد مسعود در اودی کلباسس براتون یه خبر خوش دارن.
بله، خبر خوشی که براتون داریم اینه که SUV Q3 با دیزاین جدید به تازگی بیرون اومده که تو همین مدت کوتاه کلی طرفدار پیدا کرده.
درسته، اودی Q3 علاوه بر شیک‌ترین دیزاین، از بهترین تکنولوژی و سیفتی هم برخورداره.
در اودی کلباسس مهرداد و شی همیشه سعی میکنن هر مدل اودی رو که میپسندید با بهترین قیمت در اختیارتون قرار بدن و مشتریان واجد شرایط میتونن از اسپشیال کنونی اودی Q3 بهترین استفاده رو ببرن.
دوستان، با $1000 پیش پرداخت شما میتونین اودی Q3 مدل 2019 رو 36 ماهه فقط $399 در ماه به اضافه تکس لیز کنید.
درست شنیدید، فقط $399 به اضافه تکس.
اودی کلباسس 101 فریوی خروجی پارکوی کلباسس 818 877 1900 818 877 1900.
قابل توجه رانندگان اوبر، لیفت و تاکسی. دفاتر پیام شایانی مبتکر در ارائه کارت عضویت رایگان رایدشر حال برای اولین بار اپ رایدشر تصادفات را برای ارائه بهترین سرویس به رانندگان اوبر، لیفت و تاکسی معرفی می‌کند. با دانلود کردن اپ رایدشر دفاتر پیام شایانی با نام کمک KOMAK پس از تصادف کمک‌ها و سرویس‌های لازمه را دریافت کنید. اپ کمک KOMAK به زبانهای فارسی و انگلیسی این امکان را در اختیار شما قرار می‌دهد تا عکس‌های تهیه شده پس از تصادف و اطلاعات لازم را برای گشایش پرونده تصادف با دفاتر شایانی تهیه کرده و به موفقیت پرونده خود بیفزایید. 818 777 77 77 کمک را در تلفن همراه خود دانلود کنید.
سلام، من دکتر مایکل حکیمی، مدیر مراکز جراحی، پزشکی و زیبایی لیفتیک در بیولی هیلز و نیوپورت بیچ هستم. سمینار آموزشی لیفتیک شنبه 24 آگوست در نیوپورت بیچ برگزار می شود. در این سمینار شما با چگونگی پیشگیری از چروک شدن و افتادگی پوست با استفاده از روش لیفتیک، از بین بردن سلولایت یا چربی‌های موضعی و همچنین درمان مشکل کنترل ادرار و مشکلات ناشی از منوپاز آشنا می شوید و به سوالات شما پاسخ داده خواهد شد.
شنبه 24 آگوست با حضور در سمینار لیفتیک در نیوپورت بیچ برای استفاده از سرویس‌های لیفتیک $250 گیفت سرتیفیکیت دریافت خواهید کرد. برای حضور در سمینار لطفاً جای خود را با تماس با شماره 1-800-371-2222 رزرو فرمایید. 1-800-371-2222 liftic.com liftique.com.
میشینم با تو و دورت حسار میکشم، ناز چشمان تو را بی اختیار میکشم. مینشینی پیش مهتاب و تو ناز میکنی، کام این دیوانه را هر شب تو باز میکنی. نیمه جانم ای نیمه جانم، چه حالی دارم امشب، روح و روانم آرام جهانم، هوا تو دارم امشب. نیمه جانم ای نیمه جانم، چه حالی دارم امشب، روح و روانم آشوب زمانم، چه یاری دارم امشب. بند این دل دیوانه میلرزد، خرابم میکنی هر دم، خرابی با تو میارزد. ندارم طاقت دل کندن از تو، که هم جان از تو دارم هم تن از تو. آخه عاشق شده این دل، پریشون شده این دل، عاشق شده این دل، مست و مجنون شده این دل. جانم چه حالی دارم امشب، روح و روانم آرام جهانم، هوا تو دارم امشب. نیمه جانم ای نیمه جانم، چه حالی دارم امشب، روح و روانم آشوب زمانم، چه یاری دارم امشب.
A top Trump administration official says any signs of global economic weakening are not impacting the U.S. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow tells NBC's Meet the Press that conditions are different now than what led up to the Great Recession.
Our banks are well capitalized. Our financial system's in very good shape. And I must say, as the president is transforming and rebuilding this economy, he deserves enormous credit, a new policy of lower taxes and regulation and energy opening and trade reform.
Organizers say massive numbers of pro-democracy protesters gathered once again in Hong Kong. Correspondent Ben Wiedemann.
This evening, it does appear that so far, this protest has been peaceful. There are tens of thousands of people out on the streets.
A major road in Hong Kong was blocked and public transit trains did not stop at some stations today because of the marches. I'm Ann Cates.
Radio Iran.
Could I please have some more?
Radio Iran.
Radio Iran.
دنیای ما، جامعه ما.
Our world, our community with Debbie Amini.
شنوندگان عزیز، در قسمت دوم برنامه Our World, Our Community دنیای ما جامعه ما هستیم. در خدمت مهمان عزیز کانسلمن جان لی که کانسلمن دیستریکت 12 هستند و همین سه‌شنبه گذشته مقام خودشون رو در مقام کانسلمنی دیستریکت 12 به دست آوردن. ایشون دارن صحبت میکنن راجع به مسائلی که میتونه دیستریکت 12 رو به جامعه‌ای تمیزتر و کمک هایی که میتونن ایشون بکنن برای هوملسنس و مسائلی که هوملس ها باهاش درگیر هستن، از جمله دراگ یا منتال ایلنس و یا اینکه کمبود خانه صحبت میکنن. برمیگردیم و به صحبت‌های خودمون به ایشون ادامه میدیم. در ضمن اگر سوالی دارین که دوست دارین با این مهمان عزیز مطرح کنین، با تلفن 323 512 72 64 تماس بگیرین برای اینکه ایشون آمادگی خودشون رو جهت پاسخگویی به سوال‌های شما اعلام کردن. Councilman Lee, we were talking about drugs and the problem that it creates in the district.
Sure.
And you were saying that you're trying to reduce all kind of problems that will cause and actually feeds to homelessness. I would like to ask you to explain a little bit more about the problem of drug before we move on to another subject. So what are the plans that you have in mind?
Well, first of all, I think that we're going to go and it's important that we, again, change Prop 47. That's the key here, because we have to allow our police officers the ability to do their jobs. When someone commits a crime and to feed their drug habit, now they're in and out of the system 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 times. That's a problem. And we should be able to, I don't want to criminalize the act, but I want to get them help. What we're seeing downtown and now in the valley, it's inhumane. It's not humane to watch people dying on the streets. And for your safety and my safety, we have diseases now. Typhus, typhoid fever coming back. We haven't had a case of that in over 100 years, since possibly the 1800s. That worries me. When certain people, doctors start talking about if we don't clean up the rat problem, the trash problem that's around our city, there are even some people who are afraid that the plague is going to come back. I mean, these are serious things. And if they become epidemics, we're going to have a serious problem on our hands. So I don't know why it's been looked at as sort of a bad thing to have forced rehabilitation on people who are feeding their habits and they're committing crimes to feed those drug habits. We can't force people into programs, but if they are committing crimes, I think we need to give the police that power back to, use our drug courts. Our drug courts are empty. To not, again, give them a criminal record, but to put them in some type of rehabilitation and some follow-up programs that they can do to make sure that they don't fall into those drug habits again, because they're going to be addicts the rest of their life. And we have to understand that. And then we have to provide the measures to them to help keep them on the straight path.
So you're talking about putting them in rehabs and helping them with the situation, which is a great idea. So are you planning to build any rehabs for perhaps people who are dealing with the addiction or people who just have simply mental illnesses? Is there any rehabilitation that in the district or anywhere else? As far as I know, there is not many of the rehabs that it's affordable for people these days. Mm-hmm. Most of them are from private sectors, which is very expensive. I know there was a Phoenix house for people with drug problems, but I don't even know if they're still active or not. And then the county provides another rehab, but you know better, and I would like to know if you're planning to build anything.
We, as a community, as a city, and as a county, knew that we recognized the homelessness problem was growing. And so we passed Measure H for mental illness and to address those problems, and Measure HHH in the county. But now the county is talking about building these supportive housing units in our communities. And they're estimating the cost to be $550,000 per unit, not to build the whole place, but per unit. That's the cost of some houses. The money's not being managed right. I think that we can use that money and repurpose it for a greater use, that we can build drug rehab facilities, that we can build mental illness facilities that we are in such desperate need of. The state has to be a part of this solution too. Sacramento has to realize that this is a growing problem and they need to be, providing more funding towards that. It's going to take a whole comprehensive, approach, but, this is something we need to start addressing immediately.
Yeah, I'm thinking about moving into your district now. I'm all sold. Zora is going to join us. That's
Okay.
great. I want to know if you suggest and encourage people, especially our young adults, into getting to politics and being involved in, the area that you're trying to help and serve people, into public service, basically.
Well, I mean, as somebody who has been volunteering in this community since they were 13 years old, and, parents were sort of pushing me towards a political, public service career. I think it's a wonderful thing that more kids get involved. There's a reason why my district, we are the safest district in the city of Los Angeles. There's no police division that has more volunteers, young and old, than Devonshire Division. And we have volunteer community patrol teams, bike patrol teams, surveillance teams. We even have an equestrian surveillance team, patrol team. And that just shows that, when people get involved and the message that it sends, that in CD12, we have eyes and ears everywhere. Now, for our kids, I think it's very important for them to understand the opportunities that they have to be involved, whether it's as a career, but also to give back to the communities that are raising them. Whenever I speak to kids in schools, and I always tell them, see these moms and dads that are selling magazines or selling cupcakes to raise money for your school just so you can have one more computer. They're giving you the tools to succeed. And so what I need from you is that as you get older, that you need to remember this, because I'm expecting all of you to give back someday.
So despite of all the hard work, all the challenges and everything, you highly suggest that people get involved. Let me ask you, what were some of the challenges that you had with your opponent running for the campaign?
Sure. I think the big difference between me and my opponent was talking about programs that affected the global scale, the countrywide, even the state. I was focusing on issues that mattered to Council District 12, local issues. And I think the hardest part of this campaign was really, city government is nonpartisan for a reason. You don't have to say, there's no R or D next to your name on the ballot.
No Republic, no Democrat.
Right. And there's a reason for that. But my opponent, of course, knew that I was more conservative. So their whole campaign strategy was just to make this red versus blue. Red versus blue. Not about the issues, but that he's red, we're blue. And I've always argued, you know what? I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. A pothole doesn't have politics. We need to fill those potholes. We need to provide public safety. And I think that's why so many Democrats voted for me, because they understood that it's not about the R or the D. It's about your community. I was the only person in this race that was endorsed by Republican elected leaders and Democrat elected leaders. Everyone else had, somebody on one side. I was the only one that had on both sides. And the reason was because first and foremost, they know I'm a community guy. I'm a community person, and that all that other stuff doesn't mean anything to me. It means about engaging people, making people care about their community, fighting for resources for this community, and being the type of leader that really listens to their concerns.
Very interesting. You were talking about people and you listening to the concern of people. I actually wanted to know, I know that you talked about it briefly, but if you don't mind, one more time, what are the areas that you can actually help people with? And if they need your help, how can they reach out to you? How can they come to you and say, we have this problem, and get the help that they needed?
Well, when I take office, hopefully it's going to be in a couple weeks, when I officially take office, people need to understand and know what a council office can do for them.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a traffic concern, whether it's a stop sign that they want, or whether it's, they're concerned over police response times, those are all things that, they'll bring to my attention. But, people are concerned about, I'm a big believer in the broken window theory. And that means if there's graffiti and we leave it there, it grows. And then the community around it, people start caring less about the area. I believe that we need to, as soon as there's graffiti, weeds growing in places, that we need to attack that issue right away. Because I truly believe that when people take pride in their community, that's how you have the neighborhoods that we have in CD12. People move to my district because they know we're a district where we not only know our neighbors, but they know that we're all looking out, for each other. And so those, anything that has to deal with your quality of life, that's what we deal with. So yes, to the Persian community out there, I know that they're very similar to the Korean immigrant story. And that is, they're so focused on their business, their hard work, their children, their faith, that sometimes they don't realize that there is, a part of the government that is there to help them with those needs. When I first started government from when I was 26 years old, this is 23 years ago, my mom was so shocked when I started telling her about the things that we could do. She had this one pothole just every day on the way to work. And I said, Mom, you should call your city councilman and tell them about it. And what happened? 3 days later, that pothole was fixed. And I said, they just needed to know that it was there. And so, I want the Persian community to be more engaged in our community as a whole, but also I represent them too. And I want them to know that if they have a concern in their area, that they need to call me.
So what is the contact information that they need to have, if you have it handy? If they need to call you with like the website?
Yes, I'm not in office yet, but the phone number I think is going to stay the same. It's 818-882-1212.
So this is a direct number, or is
that is a direct number to the council office?
Okay.
And they need to write that number down. For any number of reasons. The trash truck doesn't, go down their street on that day, and they forget that somehow, the route, whatever their concern is, if it's a quality of life issue, it's most likely the city handles that.
Besides the phone number, any other way for people to be able to reach out to you? Maybe a website, an email address, or something?
Well, I think in the next couple of weeks you'll start seeing more of a presence of me at the website. I haven't officially taken office yet, so I'm really.
We know you as Councilman John Lee.
Well, I appreciate that, but
to us, you're official.
Well, so the website will be going up. The district office is located in Chatsworth.
Okay.
I believe it's 9207 Oakdale Avenue.
Okay.
Is where our district office is going to be located, and then obviously my downtown office in City Hall.
Very nice. شنوندگان عزیز، کانسولمن جان لی، ببخشید اسمشون رو اشتباه گفتم، کانسولمن جان لی از شما دعوت میکنن که هر گونه سوال یا مشکلی رو که دارین در هر زمینه‌ای که فکر میکنین که مسئولیت کنسول باشه میتونین باشون تماس بگیرین و ازشون کمک بخواین. از چیزایی که ایشون بهشون اشاره کردن میتونه ترافیک باشه، علامت‌های ترافیک مثل استاپ ساین ها، اگر که پیاده راه احتیاج به ترمیم و تعمیر داره، اگر که احساس میکنین که کسی داره کاری رو انجام میده که ممکنه موقعیت و سلامت زندگی رو به خطر بندازه، در همه این موارد میتونین باشون تماس بگیرین. شماره تلفنی رو که امروز ایشون اعلام کردن 818 882 1212 هست، اریا کد 818 88 21 21 2 که راحت‌تر به ذهن سپرده میشه. این شماره تلفن کانسول آفیس هست که میتونین تماس بگیرین و مشکلات خودتون رو با اونها در میون بگذارید. همینطور آدرسی رو که اعلام کردن 9207 اوکتل اونیو در شهر چاتسورت که باز هم میتونین با اونجا یا نامه بفرستید یا اینکه اونجا برید و مشکلات خودتون رو با اونها در میان بگذارید. Councilman John Lee, I want to ask if you have any other long-term or short-term goals that perhaps we didn't talk about it today.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a number of issues that are facing this community that I need to tackle right away. There's a rapid transit bus line that's going down Nordhoff that I need to see how we're going to tackle that. But there's so many local concerns. But really, one of my biggest focuses is going to be that I need to figure out how to get more police officers on the street. We are, of all the major cities, we have the lowest amount per capita than any of the major cities in the United States. And we need to do a better job. Back when there was an economic downturn, 2007, there was a simple way. The mayor at the time did not want to reduce the police force, and rightfully so. But to cut budget, he removed all the civilian positions in the police force. So what happened? That made all the police force officers have to come back into the office to do all the clerical work. And now we're paying people more. If we can hire civilians to fill those positions, we can immediately get more police officers out on the street. But we also need to hire more, and we need to hire them fast.
Very interesting. That's going to actually create more jobs in the district as well, which is
Absolutely.
a good thing. But you mentioned that you're opposed to the bus rapid transit on Nordhoff Street. Am I correct?
Correct.
Isn't it a good thing? I mean, as far as I know, public rapid transits are helpful to reduce the traffic. So why are you opposing to that?
I totally agree. We need more sound answers. I think, like so many of my constituents, we are very frustrated when we saw the 405 gaining an extra lane, and we knew that would do nothing to relieve the traffic. We all thought, why don't they just put a rapid transit right down the middle of the 405 and 4 stops: North Valley, South Valley, West Los Angeles Airport. I know I would use it. But when you're talking about the bus rapid transit line that affects Nordhoff, this is an area where along the entire stretch is all single-family homes. This is one of the busiest streets in Council District 12. You have, they want to reduce it to 1 lane in each direction. So right now it's 3 lanes in each direction. My biggest fear is that pushes, with apps like Waze and everything, it's going to push all that traffic into my family neighborhoods. And that's something, I don't want. I have people who have lived there 20, 30 years. This is their nest egg, and they don't want to see their property values reduced, but also the safety of the children that live within those neighborhoods. I don't want to make their single family neighborhoods into freeways.
So it's a safety issue that
absolutely
is a concern. Very good. Well, it seems that time goes really fast. Today's show of Our World, Our Community is coming to an end. I would like to thank Councilman John Lee one more time for being with us today.
Thank you, Debbie.
As well as our dear board operator, Ms. Zohre Negahban. And last but not least, our dear listeners of the Radio Iran, may the power of the universe be always with you.
هزینه برنامه‌ای که شنیدید توسط کارشناس شرکت کننده در برنامه تأمین شده است. مدیران و کارکنان رادیو ایران KIRN هیچ مسئولیتی درباره سخنانی که ایراد شد بر عهده ندارند.
چقدر زیبا شدی، یه تیکه قرص ما شدی، خوشگل و دلربا شدی، کجا رفتی زیبا شدی؟
به مرکز نیولوک، به مرکز نیولوک.
بله، نیولوک دستگاه پروفاوند جدیدترین تکنولوژی جوانسازی صورت و چانه را به مراکز خود اضافه کرده که 5 برابر بیشتر از حد معمول الاستین تولید میکنه. حالا با پروفاوند بدون جراحی تنها در 1 جلسه افتادگی پوست صورت و چانه، فرو رفتگی دور لب و چروک‌های زیر گونه و چانه را به طرز معجزه‌آسا درمان کنید و جوانی را به چهره خود برگردانید. در نیولوک لیزر هیر ریمووال، کول اسکالپتینگ، ثرد لیفت، PRP، بوتاکس و انواع فیلرها را برای جوانسازی صورت با تخفیف ماهانه دریافت کنید. نیولوک در گلندل، انسینو و ایرواین. 888 885 48 48 888 885 48 48. دیگه نگید آی جوونی کجایی، چون جوونی همینجاست در نیولوک سکین سنتر.
بهمن بدو.
چرا؟
نپرس چرا، فقط بدو که اومد.
کی اومد؟ کجا اومد؟
رامین اومده بنز ون نایز بغل گوشمون.
رامین آریان بنز ون نایز؟
بگو جان من.
بله، رامین آریان هر جا که باشه بهترین دیل و بهترین سرویس در خرید و لیس بنزم همونجاست. و این بار رامین آریان دیگه بغل گوشتونه. مرسدس بنز کیز در ون نایز، شهر بنز، بزرگترین نمایشگاه بنز در کالیفرنیا با بیشترین تعداد و انواع مدل‌های اتومبیل